This isn't just a ship. It's a 100,000-ton titan of the seas, a floating city forged from some of the most advanced technology on the entire planet. Today, we are going inside the USS Gerald R. Ford, the most expensive, most powerful warship ever built, to really uncover the secrets behind its incredible power.
So, you have to ask the question, what does it actually cost to rule the seas? To build a warship that can project power to any ocean on the planet? Well, it's a simple question, but the answer is, well, it's staggering.
$13 billion. Just let that sink in for a second. That's the starting price just to build one of these things. But believe it or not, that's not even the full story. We're just getting warmed up.
Now you have to add another $4.7 billion on top of that just for research and development. So all in, you are looking at a nearly $18 billion price tag for a single ship. So the question is, why on earth would anyone spend that much money?
Well, for decades, the legendary Nimitz-class carriers were the undisputed kings of the ocean. But here's the thing, they were based on a 1960s design. And as technology started racing forward into the 21st century, these old giants of the sea were starting to get left behind.
A 2005 report from the Rand Corporation really hit the nail on the head. They pointed out that the Nimitz carriers were, well, they were running out of juice. They just couldn't generate enough electrical power for the next generation of weapons and sensors. Something big had to change, and it had to change fast.
And that change was the Ford class. This wasn't just an upgrade, it was a fundamental redesign from the keel up. The whole thing was centered around a series of revolutionary technologies built to solve that one core problem: power.
This, right here, is the key to everything. The Ford class was specifically designed to generate roughly 3 times the electrical power of the Nimitz class. This one single fact is the foundation for every other major leap forward on this ship. It's the secret sauce that makes everything else possible.
So how do they do it? Well, deep in the heart of this beast are 2 brand new A1B nuclear reactors. Now, the name sounds kind of like a secret code, but it's actually pretty simple. A stands for aircraft carrier, 1 for the first-generation design of the reactor, and B for Bechtel, the company that built it. These reactors are smaller, way more efficient, and they pack a much bigger punch. And this massive surplus of electricity unlocks a whole new level of capability. It lets you power systems the old carriers could only dream of. And that brings us up to the flight deck, because that's where our real revolution is taking place.
For 60 years, launching a fighter jet from a carrier was this, just brutal and violent process. You had these giant steam-powered catapults that would literally hurl the planes into the sky. It put incredible stress on the airframes. The Ford class, well, it does things very differently. It replaces that brute force with the clean, elegant power of electromagnetism.
This is the Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System, or EMALS for short. Instead of steam, it uses a precisely controlled magnetic field that zips down the track, pulling the aircraft along with it. It's a much smoother, much more controlled, and way faster acceleration.
This prototype here gives you a little glimpse of the magic behind it. It's basically a small-scale version of the massive linear motor that runs the length of the flight deck. It's honest-to-goodness science fiction made real.
And the advantages? Oh, they're a total game changer. For one, it's much gentler on the airplanes, which saves millions in maintenance. It can launch everything from the heaviest, fully loaded fighters to the lightest little drones, something the old steam catapults could never dream of. And it's faster, which means the Ford can get more planes in the air more quickly than any other carrier in history.
Of course, what goes up must come down. So EMALS has a counterpart, the Advanced Arresting Gear, or AAG. It throws out the old, clunky hydraulics and replaces them with a digitally controlled electric motor and water turbines. This gives it the same incredible precision for landing aircraft, letting it safely recover that same huge range of planes and drones. All right, so all of this incredible technology is housed inside a ship of truly staggering proportions. Let's just take a moment and look at the sheer size of this floating fortress. I mean, just look at these numbers. At over 1,100 feet long, this thing is a literal floating city. It carries its own air force of up to 90 aircraft that can be deployed anywhere in the world. But here's the real kicker. Thanks to all this cutting-edge automation, it does all of this with 700 fewer sailors than the older carriers. That's a savings of billions of dollars over the ship's lifetime. And here's what it all comes down to. All this new tech, all that power, all that automation, it has one ultimate purpose: launch more planes faster.
The Ford is designed to generate 25% more combat missions, or sorties, per day than any other carrier. That is a massive leap in combat power.
But look, getting to this point was not easy. Forging this new era of naval power came at a tremendous cost, not just in dollars, but in delays and serious technical headaches. I mean, trying to pack this many brand new, revolutionary systems into one hull for the very first time, well, it was a huge challenge.
The program was, frankly, plagued with problems. The late Senator John McCain famously called it a textbook example of how not to build a ship. He pointed out that they were trying to build the ship while they were still designing and testing its core technologies, and that led to massive cost overruns and delays.
And you can see it here. Each one of the Ford's groundbreaking new systems had major teething problems. The electromagnetic catapults, the advanced arresting gear, the new radar system, even the elevators that move missiles and bombs, they all faced huge challenges that led to years of delays and billions in extra costs. But despite this really difficult birth, the Ford class represents the undeniable future of naval warfare. See, this ship wasn't just built for today's fights. It was built with the next 50 years in mind. Remember that massive power surplus we talked about earlier? It's not just for the catapults and the radars of today. It's there to power the weapons of the future. The Ford has the power reserves to be armed with high-energy lasers and electromagnetic railguns as soon as that tech is ready. It's a ship literally built for tomorrow's wars. And this all brings us to the final, critical question. The USS Gerald Ford is without a doubt the most powerful warship ever to set sail. But in an age of hypersonic missiles and new anti-ship threats, does its immense power also make it the world's biggest target? That right there is the debate that's going to define its legacy. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the USS Gerald Ford, do me a favor and hit that like button. And be sure to subscribe for more incredible stories of engineering and technology. Thanks so much for watching.